Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. Today, we are drawing another portrait, but one of a more seasoned subject. I will be creating a portrait of a beloved character, Gandalf the Grey, from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, as brought to life by Sir Ian McKellan. You may know him as Magneto from the X-Men franchise, or Richard III of Shakespearean fame. You might know his voice from the live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, or have seen his villainous nature in the Da Vinci Code. He is an actor whose tremendous body of work spans 6 decades and is rightly known as Sir Ian McKellan. Just as in the Harrison Ford video last year, I was hesitant to draw Gandalf because he is such an iconic character played by a legendary actor. Additionally, as mentioned in other videos, it was the end credits of The Return of the King where I was first inspired to learn to draw portraits. The production designer, Alan Lee, had created these images during the credits where the actors' names were being shown on screen, and they were based on production stills. Apparently, it was also Sir Ian McKellan who suggested they use these images to add weight to the ending. Sir Ian was born in 1939, and at the time of recording is 82 years old. He was knighted in 1991 for his services in the arts, and whenever I see him in interviews, he is spry and witty, and I love seeing him in interviews with Sir Patrick Stewart, who I do need to get around to drawing one of these days as well. Their banter is wonderful. Sir Ian is a vocal supporter of the LGBT movement and has my vote anyways for the best dressed man in entertainment. So let's at this point get to the drawing itself. We'll discuss some of the decision making, some of the techniques being used as usual. So as I draw the stem of the pipe, which Gandalf is seldom seen without in the films, I'm reminded of a section of the commentary on the DVD where Sir Ian talks about how he tried to impart a bit of an anti-smoking message into his character, where he's having a coughing fit while talking to Pippin on the balcony overlooking Mordor. And with that discussion of Sir Ian, I think, complete, as far as I know of him, let's begin talking about the drawing. So here you see me working on the nose, a very delicate part of any drawing, and I'm using that side of the pencil technique to lightly get some shading on the paper, not so much as a final version, but just so I can use my blending stomp to help smooth and spread out some of that shading. But shading on the nose is so important. It makes a drawing go from a caricature to an actual portrait, and just looking as to where you see light and dark is so important. And then, as mentioned, the blending stomp comes into play, and because of the hat, that glorious bit of costume he has, there's some deep shadows, especially around the jawline and the cheekbones, so I'm going to be focusing on there, as well as around the eyes. The eye sockets themselves are often showing when you've got deep shadows like that, and it just creates this wonderful atmosphere, a mood to the picture, which you can't get without, really, especially in a portrait where a character definitely has a lot of shadow and light worrying around their face, as it were. As we move along in the picture, I'm going to be also working on the lips. Lips, very, very challenging because they are very subtle, but if you ever find yourself looking in a mirror, you'll notice that the lips are darker than the skin surrounding them, so that certainly helps to add some darkness there, although we've got to use moderation. Speaking of darkness, you often think of Gandalf as having that wonderful flowing mane of white hair, but the reality is you've got layers of hair. So we're going to shade the entire hair in and then take an eraser to get rid of a layer of that shading, leaving some almost like stripes here and there, and then back again, adding some more shading to the picture, going back again to the eraser, and that back and forth just helps to create layers of light and dark, which gives a bit more volume and depth to the hair, and also, of course, to that magnificent beard. So the back and forth is tedious, but it is an important process. And as I jump cut here and there, you can see that taking place all throughout the picture, but you can see the results of that here, certainly. So I hope overall that you enjoyed watching this process. Of course, we have to add a background to it, but once that's done, maybe a little bit of smoke coming from the pipe and some little extra little laugh lines and details around the eyes here and there, we can see Sir Ian taking shape, and I'll post a picture of the final version with all the little touch-ups, of course, that I tend to do before I'm satisfied with a picture. So thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic day.